Hi everybody, welcome back. Today I'm inspired by a turtle. You may have seen a week ago or so, a couple of weeks ago, I did a dragon's eye and I made some scaly looking effects with some chameleon cells and flip cups. And it just looks so cool, but it really reminded me of a turtle. So I'm now going to try a turtle. So it's going to be a two-part painting. First part, I'm now going to do the sea. So it's going to be swimming in the sea, this turtle. So I'm going to do a kind of a swirly swipe to represent the water, to represent the sea. Let that dry, then come back and do the turtle afterwards. So I'm really excited to get started. I've got some really beautiful, delicate ocean colours ready to do the sea. I've decided to reuse a canvas for this pour. There's a Dutch pour underneath. I've just applied some gesso to the surface just to prime it so it's quite chalky now and rough, but you can still see the pink underneath of the Dutch pour. That won't show at all because it was such thin paint used on that pour. It dries flat anyway. It's 30 by 40, I think. So I've got a darker blue, a sparkly turquoise, a lighter blue, a silver and a white here. My plan is just to literally drizzle the colours on, a bit like a stained glass swipe. So lots of little thin beads of paint everywhere and then swipe it. I've put some silicone oil or some coconut hair serum into each of the paints. So when I heat it afterwards, that will give me the cells. So I am just going to drizzle the paint on. Quite a lot of paint on there. So I'm now going to tilt it to even it out and get all the little bare bits covered. Right, really happy with this combination of colours. There's a lot of white showing, and that's fine if it results in a lot of white, because I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm going to do a horizontal swipe, but I'm going to do it with a wave to it, so it looks a bit more ocean-like. Let's start here. So actually, yeah, you can see that white goes because all the colours just blend beautifully. I'm going to do a gap and then I'm going to come back the other way in the middle. Wow, absolutely love that. There's a couple of places where it's missed. So I think what I might do is just come in with a really small swipe. Or shall I leave it? Do you know what? I'm going to leave it. It's all part of the wave effect. Oh, it's so pretty. Right, there's a few little cells popping up. So I'm now just going to torch it and I should get some more. I'm going to torch it in waves, I think. I'm doing my happy dance. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's the perfect depth of colour. It's not too dark. It's not too pale. So happy with it. You've got a few really dark bits that just sort of meander through it. But the majority of this are lovely pale pastel-y cells. Really, really like it. This is going to be just, I think, the perfect background for my turtle. So the turtle, I think, is going to be darker greens. So he's just going to sit, or the turtle, he's going to sit on top of this base. really, really happy with this. So I'll be back when it's dry. So the painting dried really well. I lost some of my really perfect swirls and waves because the paints were quite runny. They've moved a little bit as they've been drying. So you can see here, it's a little bit choppy, but actually I think it doesn't matter at all. It looks really quite effective, quite water-like still. Right, I have drawn out a turtle on here. I've covered this with frog tape. And then I've just cut out the main shell of the turtle. So that's the bit that's exposed at the moment. That's the first bit I'm going to do. And then I've just created a little lip of frog tape all the way around because I when I put the paint on, I don't want it to go everywhere. I want it just to stay in that section because then I can dip some oil in to create my chameleon cells in the design that I want to. So first thing I need to do is layer up a cup with the colours in. So I'm using greens. So I've got quite a bright green, I've got an earth green, I've got a dark sap green, I've got like a sparkly charcoal, which I made from silver and a bit of black, and then some iridescent green. I'm going for quite a runny mixture because I want big cells. So the runnier this is, the bigger the cells will be. So all these paints have been mixed with PVA glue and water. And I've mixed them 2 parts PVA glue pouring medium to 1 part paint, but then I have thinned it down just a little bit because it was just a little bit too thick still. So I'm just going to layer up this cup. So I've just smeared some paint in the crease there so that I think it's more or less dry now. The idea is that that will then stop this more liquid, more fluid paint from seeping underneath. So is that going to be too much paint? Not sure. I'm just going to go for it, see what happens. Right, what a beautiful blend of colours. So I'm just going to tilt this around so that all of the turtle shell is covered. Just get the weight of the paint back to roughly into the centre. Right, so this is the telling bit. Will my plan work? I'm going to use some coconut milk hair serum as my oil. So I'm just putting a little bit just on my worktop to the side here. And then I'm just going to use a wooden skewer. I'm going to dip the skewer into the oil and then I'm going to dot some of the oil on to create some cells. Now the biggest cells I think would be along the top of the shell of a turtle. So I'm going to go for there first. In fact, I think I might just start right in the middle and just dot some oil along. See what happens. Right, so far so good. It's not perfect, but I think I can work with this. I dotted the cells really close together along the bottom so that they would be smaller, and then further apart along the top so that they're bigger. Now, this section here in the middle, just trying to get rid of my light reflex, is perfect. Can you see they've kind of gone hexagonal? The only thing I'm disappointed with is these few at the top here. They just haven't expanded in the same way. I wanted them more to be like this all over the top. Also slightly disappointed at the moment that I've put the black in because I think it's just a bit too black. But other than that, I'm happy. So I'll be back when it's dry. Right, I'm back. Didn't like it, so I've scraped it. Well, I haven't scraped it, I mopped it up. So I've just got some tissue paper here, and I've just literally just spent ages just dabbing it and just, yeah, mopping it up, because I think I could do better. So I've layered up another cup. Now this cup doesn't have any black in, and every single layer is much thinner. So I've actually put, I think, 4 of each of the colours in, 4 layers of each colour in here. So much thinner. So hopefully I won't get any big patches of a single colour. So let's see what difference this makes. So I'm much happier. I'm just glad I've got rid of the black. There's a hint of black come through, probably just from the paint that was left on the surface. Managed to get much better cells along the top of the shell, and I think that is the most important bit. The ones in the middle, they're a bit small at the moment, but they're still expanding. I've only just done those ones. And then I tried to go for 3 really tight-knit rows at the bottom, so small cells. My only concern now is it dark enough, but I think what I will probably do is come in and embellish it and shade around the edges, so I don't think that should matter. Really happy. So you can see the cells are just going a bit hexagonal, because they're big and they're getting a bit crowded, so that's perfect. So I will now be back when it's dry. So the turtle shell's now dried really well, really happy with it. So I've now covered it in frog tape, and then I've cut out with my craft knife the 2 back legs, the front fin flipper, and then the head here, and then I've done exactly the same. I've smeared some paint in just to seal that edge, so I hope that the next paint I'm going to apply won't seep under the edge. So this was slightly lighter. I want the head and the flippers to be darker, so I'm going to be using more of the dark green, which is the Amsterdam sap green. I've got some of the earth green, and I've also got some black. I've made a kind of weird green. I'm not sure whether to use that or not. It's iridescent green, yellow and black. No, I don't think I am. I don't like it. So I'm going to layer a cup, but this time I'm going to do ring pours. So I'm just going to layer 1 cup to start with. I want it to be the majority of this colour. It's thickened up a little bit since I've mixed it, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water. So as I said, I'm going to just do some little tiny ring pours. Right, really quite happy with that. So it's now going to distort because I'm going to tilt it out, but I need to stretch it out now, thin out this paint. So the idea really is that I'll get some sort of lines in the design. Right, it's all now covered. So it's now finished. This is Timmy the turtle. So I've got mixed feelings. There are bits I absolutely love about this painting and that have worked brilliantly. There are other bits that I'm just not sure about. So first of all, the base, wow, love it. Absolutely love the base. The paints were relatively thin, so it did distort slightly, but doesn't it look like water? It just, to me, it's so bubbly. It just, yeah, really, really happy with the base. So the next bit I did was the shell, the turtle shell, and I dried it quickly. So I put my heat mats underneath it, and can you see it's got some really nice texture to it. So it's created a bit of cracking, and that I think just makes it look more realistic. I've created a bit of shading. I used a relief marker to go around the edge just to fill in the gap between the shell and the water. And then really, really happy with the head and the flippers, because that was a straight pour, sorry, a ring pour, as was this. So it's really dark, but you've got such detail in it, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be really subtle, but I didn't want it to be plain. I wanted to use a fluid art technique. So I just think it works. And because of the way I tilted it, you've got the direction of the rings, I think, match the shape of the head. I've shaded a little bit around, so underneath the turtle. So overall, yeah, really, really happy with it. I think it's a little bit fussy, a little bit busy. But I've used 3 techniques plus some hand painting and embellishing on top. 3 different fluid art techniques: a swipe, a flip cup chameleon pour, and ring pours. So thoroughly enjoyed the process. Please let me know what you think. Do drop me a comment in the comments box below. Please do hit the thumbs up button. And thank you so much for watching. Great, take care.